All right, here we go with our solutions video for Algebra 2 Honors, Unit 4, Lesson number 3. We're going to go ahead and hop into this here with our synthetic division. All right, so we are dividing this polynomial by this binomial here, so that means we're going to switch out. And when we do our synthetic division, it's going to be dividing by 2. That's not what I want. There. Let's see, we're not missing any terms here, so we're dividing by 2, 2, 1, and negative 10. All right, and we know we're going to bring down our leading coefficient and then do a series of multiply and add. So 2 times 2 is 4, 1 plus 4 is 5, 2 times 5 is 10, negative 10 plus 10 is 0. That didn't take much. So this quotient here is 2x plus 5. Let's look at what we've got for number 2. We got 3, 2, 1. We're not missing any terms. Dividing it by x plus 1. So in our synthetic division, we're going to put a negative 1 over here in the cubby. And we have 4, negative 3, 3, negative 1. Now, negative 1 times 4. Negative 1 times 4 gives us negative 4. Negative 3 minus 4 gives us negative 7. Negative 1 times negative 7 is 7. 3 plus 7 is 10. Negative 1 times 10, negative 11. Negative 10. Negative 1 minus 10, that's where we get our negative 11. All right, and so we can write our quotient here. We have 4x squared minus 7x plus 10 minus, and we have 11 divided by, what's it, x plus 1. All right, let's get a box around that. And looking at this next one, let's see, we have 5, 4, we're missing a 3. So that means on our synthetic division here, we're going to have, let me see, let's go ahead and put our negative 2 over on the side. We've got 1, 4, negative 1, 4, 0. Negative 3, 2, and 3. All right, so now let's go through. We have negative 2. 4 minus 2 is 2. Negative 4. 0 plus negative 4, negative 4. This is going to give us a positive 8. Negative 3 plus 8 is 5. Negative 2 times 5, negative 10. And it's going to give us a negative 8. 2 minus 10, negative 8. And this gives us 16. 3 plus 16 is 19. So this, now we're going to have x to the 4th, 2x cubed, 4x squared, plus 5x minus 8. And then we have plus 19 divided by x plus 2. All right, I'm tired of trying to draw these boxes in here. And last but not least, what do we have here? Okay, we've got, we're missing the fourth. We're missing a couple things here. So this is x to the fifth. We've got 1, then 0 for the x to the fourth, then 1, 0 for x squared, 0 for x, and negative 2. Dividing it by 1. See what our remainder is going to be. Oops. Bring down our 1. All right, now 1 times 1, of course, is 1. 0 plus 1 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. 1 times 2 is 2. 0 plus 2 is 2. 1 times 2 is 2. 0 plus 2 is 2. 1 times 2 is 2. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0. All right, and so now this gives us x to the fourth plus x cubed. Plus 2x squared plus 2x plus 2. And as we saw, our remainder is 0, so that means x minus 1 is a factor of x to the fifth plus x cubed minus 2. Now we are given, so we're looking at our factor theorem here. Now we know that x plus 1 is a factor, so that means when we do our division, our synthetic division, we're going to come up with a remainder of 0. So 1, and we're going to have, what is that? 1, negative 4, 1, and 6. And we already know that's going to be 0. Bring down our 1, negative 1 times 1, negative 1, negative 4 minus 1, negative 5. Negative 1 times negative 5 is positive 5. 1 plus 5 is 6. Negative 1 times 6 is negative 6. There's our remainder 0. So that gives us a quadratic of, I'm just going to write it over here this time, x squared minus 5x plus 6. And now finding the zeros, let's set that equal to 0. And we know this factors out to x minus 2, x minus 3 equals 0. And giving us our solution set of negative 1, 2, and 3. All right. We know this one is a factor. So now let's do our division on 1. And we're going to have 1, negative 2, negative 1, and 2. I guess I can write a little bigger. We know our remainder is going to be 0. So 1 times 1 is 1. That's going to be negative 1. So that's going to be negative 1. That becomes negative 2. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. 2 plus negative 2 is 0. So that gives us x squared minus x minus 2 equaling 0. And when we factor that, that factors out to x plus 1, x minus 2 equaling 0, giving our full solution set for our zeros of 1, well, negative 1, 1, and 2. I just like to put them in numerical order. Now over here, we know that negative 2 is a root. So on a synthetic division, we're going to do negative 2. and we have 1, -10, and -12. We know that's going to be 0. Bring down that 1, and that gives us oh, that's right. I'm missing a term here. One, 0, -10, -12. Bring down the 1, and now that gives us -2. -2, this is going to give us 4. -6, -2 times -6, +12. There's our 0, and we have x squared minus 2x minus 6 equals 0. So that's a quadratic that cannot be factored. So we need to go to our handy-dandy quadratic formula. So we have -b, but b is -2, so -2 is +2, plus or minus the square root of b squared is 4. And we have minus 4 times a is 4 times -6 is 24. So that's a negative, so 4 plus 24 divided by 2. So that is 2 plus or minus the square root 28 divided by 2. But square root 28, that is the square root of 4 times 7. So we can write this as 2 plus or minus 2 square root 7 divided by 2, which equals 1 plus or minus the square root of 7. So our solution set, we have -2, and then 1 plus or minus the square root of 7. All right, now over here, we graph this to find an integer root. So let's find that integer root. And here we see we have an integer root at 2, 0. So our root is 2, and then we have 1, -2, -10, and 20. We know that's going to be a 0. Bring down our 1. 2 times 1 is 2. This gives us a 0. 2 times 0 is 0. So -10. 2 times -10 is -20. And that gives us an x squared minus 10. Now, setting that equal to 0, well, we don't have a b term. We just have the a and the c, so we can say x squared equals 10, and that will give us x equals positive negative square root of 10. So writing our solution set, we've got 2, and then positive negative, our conjugate pair, positive negative square root 10. So we have a conjugate pair here, and of course this is also a conjugate pair when we're talking about roots of polynomials, roots of quadratics. If we have one radical, we'll have its opposite, and those are called our conjugate pairs. And that brings us to our long division. All right, so let's get on with it. Let me see. We need to rearrange this into, let's see, 12. So 12x cubed coming first, and then we have our 20x squared, and then our 11x. And we're dividing that by 2x plus 1. All right, so what are the steps in doing this? Well, we're going to take this 12x cubed. Actually, let's do it Oh, come on. All right, come on now. All right, well, all right, okay. Anyway, live television, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we've got, just want to put it over here. 12x cubed divided by 2x gives us 6x squared. So we put our 6x squared over here. That'll give us, of course, 12x cubed when we multiply it through plus 6x squared. That does not look like a squared right there. And then very important, we've got to remember we are subtracting all of this here. So 20 minus 6 give us 14x squared. Now we want to take that 14x squared and divide it by 2x and 7x. Oh, I forgot to bring down my 11x. So this 7x squared, now 14x squared. I left off my plus 2. All right, and that is going to be plus 7x. Subtract. This gives us 4x plus 2. 4x divided by 2x is 2, so plus 2. And then we get 4x plus 2, a remainder of 0. So this is our answer right here. I'm not going to box it. I'm just going to point it out. All right. Well, I'm not worrying about my numbers. Okay. We have 4, 3, and 2. So that means we're just going to have 18x to the 4th plus 3x squared. And let's see. No. Man, have such a, okay. All right, and we are dividing, okay, 3x squared plus 1. And now let's just go ahead and say we have 18x to the 4th divided by 3x squared. So that's going to be 6x squared. So that gives us 18x to the 4th plus 6x squared. And when we subtract that, now, okay, so we got to bring down this 9x cubed. Oh, wow. All right, bringing down that 9x cubed. Now we have 3x squared minus 6x squared, so that's a minus 3x squared. Okay, now 9x cubed divided by 3x squared is 3x. Of course, we would have a 3x, a 0 here, and this gives us 9x cubed plus 3x. Still subtracting all of this, and this gives us negative 3x squared minus 3x. And negative 3x squared divided by 3x squared is negative 1. So that'll give us negative 3x squared minus 3x for a remainder of 0. And again, here's our answer up there. I'm not going to box it this time. All right, let's look at what we've got going on here. We've got cube squared, boom. So arranging this, we've got 12x cubed minus 11x squared, 9x plus 18. All right, and dividing it by 4x plus 3. Okay, 12x cubed divided by 4x equals 3x squared. So that's going to give us, of course, 12x cubed. And then we've got plus 9x squared. And when we subtract that out, negative 11 minus 9, so we have a negative 20x squared plus 9x. All right, so now we have negative 20x squared divided by 4x, so that's a negative 5x. Negative 20x squared minus 15x. Oh, I can see what's going to happen here. Now when we subtract this, we have 9 minus negative 15 is 9 plus 15, so 24x plus 18. 24x divided by 4x is a positive 6, and that's going to give us 24x plus 18, a remainder of 0. All right, now what do we have here? Let's see, we're missing an x to the 4th term. I see that. 3, 2, okay. So let's go ahead with this one. We've got 3x to the 5th, 0x to the 4th, x cubed, 4x squared, 12x minus 8. Man, I hope I have enough room to do this. Okay. All right, and we're dividing it x squared minus 2. Well, good. We got our x squared term. So let's look at 3x to the 5th divided by x squared. That's going to be 3x cubed. So that's going to give us 3x to the 5th minus 6x cubed. So that's just 0 right there. So we don't need to write that 0. Now we got negative 1 minus negative 6. So that's negative 1 plus 6. So that is 5x cubed plus 4x squared. Now 5x cubed divided by x squared is 5x. So we can put plus 5x. So 5x cubed minus 10x. 5 times 2x, so minus 10x. And when we subtract that, we need to bring down our 4x squared. Now, look at where we have negative 12 minus negative 10. So negative 12 plus 10 is negative 2. So minus 2x. Now, 4x squared divided by x squared is 4. So that gives us 4 times x squared is 4x squared. And then we have 4 minus 8. Let's go ahead and bring down that negative 8. And when we subtract this out, we're left with 2x. And then, of course, negative 8 minus negative 8 is 0. So this gives us, we have a remainder of minus 2x divided by x squared minus 2. Now, so for our last part, we're doing throwback. So looking at this right here, we know how to find the inverse of a function. First thing we're going to do is take f of x and replace it with y. Then swap x and y. Then solve for y. X minus 4 equals 2y. It gives us x minus 4 divided by 2 equals y. And let's not forget about our inverse symbol. Just want to write that down there. Now, we can keep it like this right here, or we can also write it, we can split out, separate this fraction and have 1/2 x minus 4 divided by 2 is 2. All right, last one, we've got, looking at this right here, swapping, or not swapping, replacing, first of all, then swapping. Then solving for y is going to give us x minus 10 equals y cubed. And then taking the cube root, so we have cube root of x minus 10 equals y. All right, and that does it for this video.